Hello and what is going on, guys? Today we are going to talk about some common, or well, just really in general, some leftist ideologies. I'll explain a little bit what I think about them, I guess what they stand for in my interpretation of their ideologies, but look, I'm not gonna give these ideologies generous interpretation. No, I'm gonna tell you what I think of them, okay? And many of these ideologies I hate, many of these ideologies I got no problem with whatsoever. Just wanted to make it clear so that my audience kind of knows, okay, if this person, if this other person that I'm watching or that I've heard about on the TV says, well, I'm this kind of a socialist, well, then here you are. Here you'll hear my opinions about them and why I think so. So I'm gonna only take the top row here. I think the top row here will be the ideologies that I kind of know about somehow, or that I've basically got something to say about in general. So, first of all, anarcho-syndicalism. I'll put this one in the A tier. I think that anarcho-syndicalism is a very good ideology in some ways because it tries to organize society in a in a syndicalist way. Now, syndicalism is a little bit complicated, but syndicalism means that you should work within unions to try to establish a more socialist society. I do agree with this, but where I disagree is that syndicalists usually reject a society based on worker cooperatives and instead prefer other way of grassroots organizing society. I know, it's a lot of complicated terms here. But if you don't understand anything, just Google it up. Or I'll explain later in another video. I will explain about worker cooperatives. But yeah, I like anarcho-syndicalists in most ways. They're trying to establish socialism. They don't stand for anything super stupid. So that's why I would say that, yeah, they're a good ideology in general. I would definitely agree a lot with anarcho-syndicalists. I would maybe disagree on some select topics, but I've got no problem with their ideology as a whole. Let's get to Stalinism. Well, these people basically they suck up to Stalin, right? And Stalin was a mass murderer, brutal man, more of a fascist than a socialist, to be honest. And that's why I think that anyone who wants to be a Stalinist is not a socialist. They're a liar, and they like suppressing people, and they've probably got some very weird views in general about, well, everything really. Yeah, anarcho-communism. I put it in the B tier. I feel like it's a little bit irrational in some senses. Like, look, we won't be able to reach total communism. I feel like in that sense, the syndicalists are a little bit more realistic, and that's why I prefer the anarcho-syndicalists over the anarcho-communists. But in general, also anarchism, whilst I'm sympathetic to some of its views, I'm not that extreme, and I'm not for total anarchism. I think it can get a little bit extreme sometimes, and that's why I think that anarcho-communism is basically a combination of communist extreme and anarchist extreme, which means that I kind of feel like, well, it's got good, it wants some good things, but in general, it's a little bit too rational for my taste. The democratic socialism, so I'm gonna put it, uh, probably here. Democratic socialism is about democratically establishing a socialist society. They do usually agree with me about worker cooperatives. Some democratic socialists are social democrats, basically. I'm not a social democrat. I don't hate social democrats, but we'll get to them later. But I'm talking about the ones who are anti-capitalist democratic socialists. They are A tier for me. I was one myself not a long time ago until I realized that no, there's an ideology anywhere of these who fits me a little bit better. I'm gonna get to that and explain to you why I would prefer that ideology. But democratic socialism, decent ideology overall. These people usually they don't do much harm and they usually try to fight for good. I sometimes feel like their electoralism is a little bit weird because you ain't really gonna be able to vote in socialism. I mean, you can try. I think it's noble to try, but I think you're gonna have to use some other measures as well, like striking, and that's where I'm like unions. That's where I'm a little bit sympathetic to the syndicalist perspective of establishing a socialist society. So I'm a little bit in between these two, and yeah, we'll get to which ideology that is. Yeah, democratic socialists, pretty good people. Got no problem with somebody calling themselves that. National Bolshevism. This is Nazis, but red Nazis, I guess. I hate these people. They are delusional. They are insane. They are Caleb Maupin. They are Spanky Tankies. Don't talk to them. They will only make your mind melt down with all their evil stupidity. And the next tanky ideology, Maoism. It's better than these two, but it's still a tanky ideology. And Mao made millions of people starve to death in China. Wasn't very smart, wasn't very good. That's why he gets to be down the bottom. Anarcho-primitivism. This is also shit ideology. It says go back to Stone Age, basically. Like, these people, I'm not even sure if anyone is serious who are advocating for this because it's insane. Okay, there's nothing sane whatsoever about anarcho-primitivism. How are we supposed to go back to the Stone Age? Why and all that? Yeah, I don't bother taking these people seriously, to be honest, but they're kind of stupid, so I had to add them in there just to discredit them so that I don't get a secret anarcho-primitivist viewer and they'll start doing a bunch of weird comments when I've made a bunch of videos. Nope, you guys suck. Bye bye. Marxism-Leninism. And the reason why they're higher up than these ideologies is that they haven't killed anyone, okay? Marxism-Leninism, I guess the best of the worst tanky ideologies. I mean, look, it's not good whatsoever. I mean, there's not a lot good about Marxist-Leninism. I mean, it tried to establish a socialist society and it failed completely. And that's why I think we should just say, well, nope, we're not going to do that. Bye bye. Okay, left wing market anarchists. This is a tough one, but I will be putting them below democratic socialism. These people agree with me on a lot of things. I don't agree with the anarchism part of it, but the rest I do agree with. Markets are very good. I believe in individual liberty, so that's why I'm sympathetic to anarchists, but I'm not an anarchist. So I wouldn't say that they're perfectly fit. And I'm a little bit more leaning towards democratic socialist if I would have to pick myself between the two of them. But yeah, I mean they agree about co-ops. Co-ops are good. Co-ops they foster equality over society. They're a great way to basically replace capitalism, and that's why I agree with them on that. Trotskyism, or light tankies, I'd like to call them. They're not full tanky. They're not fully insane. They're just kind of insane. So yeah, I'm not gonna put them down with the idiot ideologies. D tier. This should just be the idiot ideologies. Um, no, they get to be C tier. They're slightly better than they're the stupid bad ideology, not the idiot ideology. So yeah, that's what I think about Trotskyists. Democracy. Yeah, I think social democrats usually want good things, but they just don't realize that capitalism has to be abolished. There's no real solution to capitalism. It's an in The capitalism has inherent problems. So you're not gonna fix them by making a gentle form of capitalism. They're not like these ideologies who are just straight insane ideologies, and they're not really bad, but they're not really good either. They've done very good things throughout history, but I think that in general, nah, I don't really love them, and I think that they really they're bigger than all the other ideologies combined. I mean, they are social democracy is a massive ideology. So many people like it, but it just ain't really my cup of tea. It's, yeah, to be honest, not extreme enough. It doesn't really propose a different worldview. Just like maybe we should be kind to each other, and maybe we should try to make capitalism a little bit better. But no, we need to restructure it. And just being like, well, let's make it a little bit better and fine tuning the edges doesn't mean it's good. It's certainly better than full neoliberalism. But no, it's not good necessarily because it's better than neoliberalism. That's not a very high standard, you know. So I think that, yeah, social democracy, it just doesn't really work. Okay, I mean it works. It's the best form of capitalism, but any form of capitalism is inherently kind of bad. So they're decent. That's what they get. Anyways, libertarian socialism, my ideology. Of course, I'm gonna put them at the top. I believe libertarian socialism is the best way forward, and I'm a libertarian market socialist, as I showed you guys on a political compass test. Reasoning for being a libertarian market socialist, well, okay, it's a little bit long. I might explain this ideology more later, but I'm gonna be a little bit quick here, just to not make the video too long for you guys. So, libertarian socialism, it's basically about providing positive freedom. You're supposed to provide a kind of freedom in the sense that it's not about what you're restricting, right? I think it's about what's positive. You should be able to provide people with education so they've got freedom to make choices in their lives. It's not about like, well, you should not be allowed to say this because that's more freedom, or you should be allowed to own guns. No, it's about being provided opportunities. It's about freedom of opportunity. You should have freedom to make your own choices in life. That is something that I think is very important. That if you, I mean, basically in my ideal society, every person can become, in a sense, what they want. I mean, obviously it has to be financially profitable to some extent, but since I propose a radical change of the society, like everyone will be able to become a YouTuber or streamer and make money of it. I mean, I don't want to become a YouTuber or streamer and make money of it, but there would be obviously some options. I think that in libertarian socialism, you would provide options for people to live the lives they want. You get a fair and equal pay around. I mean, it can't be perfect, right? But you get a sort of fair and equal pay to everyone in the world. And then you say, well, okay, now you guys can spend this money however you want. If you want to buy a big house because you like having a big house and you think that's important for you, go ahead. Just remember that maybe your neighbor or the other worker in your company, he might go on a vacation instead. His choice, his money, your choice, your money. You get to make the decisions, but don't expect that you will be having everything handed on you on a silver platter. No, that's not how any socialist ideology works. I mean, except for maybe some of these, but I mean, this one you're not going to be handed the silver platter. You're going to be handed no platter with nothing on it. Maybe a stone if you're lucky. Anyways, mutualism. I mean, it's very similar to left-wing market anarchism. Mutualism is the theory, well, it's really the theory about cooperatives. It is actually. But it's also mixed with anarchism, and I'm not an anarchist. Again, I've said this 15,000 times. But I certainly think that these are the best form. It's the best form of anarchism, and that's why I'm gonna put it in the top. Even though market anarchism, these are really similar. So yeah, the differences between these two are not very major. And I think that mutualism is a good way to look at economics for sure. And anarcho-transhumanism. And I really don't know shit about this ideology. It's the one ideology that on this list right here that I actually know nothing about, except about transhumanism. The idea that we should become some weird robotic thing by, I don't know, getting in implants or whatever of, they basically want to make humanity become something great, which I mean is like they want to make humanity become like robotic so we can be stronger and be more powerful, and combined with anarchism, to me it's very stupid. I wouldn't mind putting in the lowest tier, but I will put it there because I don't think this ideology is like unrealistic, very unrealistic in fact. And I'm even gonna put Trotskyism. Trotsky, of all people, he gets to go higher than that because those people, they don't realize what they're getting into, okay? You do not want transhumanism. That's not gonna lead to any good whatsoever. No, transhumanism is a cursed ideology, and to be honest, sometimes it feels like it's got some Nazi vibes. I'm sorry, but I'm gonna say it like, oh, let's become machines so we can get superior power. Oh, and let's become the greater human race. Blah blah blah. You know that sounds kind of weird, right? And anarcho-transhumanists out there. And also, okay, yeah, I'll stop ranting about him. I don't like him. Okay. So, in summary, this is what I think about some of the major socialist ideologies. In fact, these ones I'm not even sure if they should be on the list, but here they are, I guess. So, I hope that everyone enjoyed. If you've got any objections to what I think and what I think about these ideologies, then please tell me down in the comments, and I'll listen to your opinions. I'll value them. I might not change my mind, but I will listen and I will read them. And yeah, I hope every one of you have a nice day, and I will see you next one, guys. Thanks for watching.